Labour markets. Demand for labour. Firms make up the demand for labour. They demand labour when there is an increase in the demand for their goods and or services and need to increase their level of output. The demand for labour is a downward sloping curve, since the lower the wage rate, the more firms will be willing to employ more labour, because it's cheaper. Supply of labour. Individuals make up the supply of labour. Individuals supply labour when they are ready and are willing to work in the labour market. The supply of labour is an upward sloping curve, since the higher the wage rate, the more individuals will be ready and willing to work, because workers will be paid more. The intersection of the demand and supply curve is equilibrium wage rate and equilibrium quantity of labour. There is a different labour market for each industry. For example, there's a teaching labour market and there's a nurses' labour market. Demand for labour, i.e. the firms. An increase in demand will shift the demand curve right and increase the wage rate and quantity of labour. Factors which may increase demand for labour are an increase in the output of the firm, increased productivity of labour, and or increased costs of other inputs. For example, machinery costs more. However, a decrease in demand will shift the demand curve left and decrease the wage rate and quantity of labour. Factors which may decrease the demand for labour are decrease in the output of the firm, productivity of labour decreases, and or costs of other inputs decrease. For example, machinery is cheaper. Supply of labour, i.e. the individuals. An increase in supply of labour will shift the supply curve right. This will increase the quantity of labour and decrease the wage rate. Factors which will increase supply of labour are pay and remuneration increases, working conditions improve, human capital, skills, experience, educational training levels decrease, i.e. there are lower academic training requirements, occupation and geographic mobility of labour increases, and the participation rate increases. However, a decrease in the supply of labour will shift the supply curve left. This will decrease the quantity of labour and increase the wage rate. Factors which will decrease the supply of labour are pay and remuneration decreases, working conditions decrease, human capital, skills and experience, educational training levels increase, occupation and geographical mobility of labour decreases, and the participation rate decreases. To conclude, demand for labour is made up by firms, while supply is made up by the individuals. Factors which will shift the demand for labour are output of the firm, productivity of labour, and cost of other inputs. While factors which will shift the supply curve are pay and remuneration, working conditions, human capital, skills, experience, educational training levels, occupation and geographical mobility of labour, and the participation rate.